Hello everyone, this is Morgan Geronimo. Welcome to this episode dedicated to showcasing an incredible mod. The AcademyCraft mod. Well, actually just a part of it, one of the four abilities because I seriously have not enough time to show you all of them. I might showcase the other three abilities in other videos, but today I am concentrating in the vector manipulation ability, aka the power of the accelerator character from the Toaru Kagaku no Railgun series. Well, actually, it's also the Toaru Kagaku no Accelerator series. Is the actual main protagonist of the Toaru Kagaku no Accelerator. And both of these series are spin-offs of Toaru Majutsu no Index, a certain magical index. So I suggest you to watch all of those, at least, Railgun, because I think it's the best one. And it's actually, this whole mod is based on Railgun. So I suggest you to watch it because I'm a huge fan and I actually started watching the series thanks to this mod. So once again, thank you, developer. Wetfold, I hope I pronounced it well. But let's get going. I don't have an ability right now, okay? If I had one, I could just press V on the keyboard and my powers would appear, but I am pressing it right now, nothing is happening because I don't have an ability. So everything starts with this. An ability induction factor, especially in this case, since I'm talking about the vector manipulation ability, I am talking about the ability induction factor for the vector manipulation ability. I mean, it all makes sense. You can also search it in the is it J? Okay, so let me just ability. Okay, you can see all of them. And I added in this mod pack, in the simple space mod pack, a recipe for each of them so you can actually craft them, because normally you're supposed to find them in dungeon chests, but I never ever found them there, even after a longer search. So I decided that I would add them because it's either that they don't spawn and it's a bug, I'm not sure, or they're just extremely rare and it's not really worth it, I think. I mean, I think people should be allowed to decide which ability they have, so I did a crafting, which is not super simple, but at least it gives you a way to choose your ability quite soon. So you have to craft the ability induction factor, or find it if it's possible, as I said. So I already have one, but I'm going to show you one thing, because since I added the crafting, there's this weird thing, okay? I have all of the ingredients, but I cannot do it. I cannot craft it from J. Why? Because there's this weird problem, because it does not recognize the potion. I set it to accept any potion, so actually I can use any. This is just an example, but you can use just a water bottle or any potion. And let me just show you. Okay, and it's like this, and just see, I can get it. I can also exchange it like this, and it's there. So this is how you craft it. Okay, any potion. This is very important, and of course it's raining. Okay, thanks, come on. Okay, so this is how to get an ability. Well, actually, I still don't have an ability. I'm pressing V right now. I need another thing, which is the portable developer. You can right click, it boots up, everything is fine. Of course, it fails because I don't have an ability. I can type learn and then press enter. I'm not going to do it right now because there's another thing I have to tell you. But in the meantime, I could just type learn, press enter. It will do its stuff. And I will get a random ability unless I have an ability induction factor in my inventory. So in this case, I would definitely get a vector manipulation ability. Be careful when you craft the developer, because you have, I mean, if you want to choose your ability, just get an induction factor earlier. If you don't care, just craft the developer and you're fine. Now, this is already charged because I took it in creative mode, but to charge it, you can use any generator from the AcademyCraft mod. There are three. Of course, there's the solar generator, which I think is the best one because it doesn't need any input. It will infinitely generate energy, and it actually is enough energy for all of your needs in power terms. You just need one, but of course, it's better to have more power generators. The phase generator requires imag fluid, which I'm not going to cover in this episode. I'm going to cover it in another episode, or maybe if you ask me, I'm just going to briefly explain it. Of course, I'm going to cover it, and I've already covered it in the Simple Space series. And then there's the wind generator. It's a multi-block structure. It produces more energy than the other two. And at all times, because the solar generator, of course, doesn't work during night, while the wind generator works at all times. It's just, it's more expensive than the solar generator, which is this and it's done, but this requires more pieces. And it's more expensive, it produces more energy, and it's usually way more than what you actually need. Okay, you have to craft anything that generates energy, open it, and place the portable developer in the out section, okay? It's simple, as you can see. Of course, this is already charged, but if I place there an uncharged portable developer, it will be charging now because it's day. This is full of energy right now. It's got a buffer of 1000 imag flux, so I think it's fine. And it generates 3 imag fluids per tick. And there's also a cute sun, so it's working, okay? It shows a cloud when it's raining and stuff, okay? Now, I have to point out something before we go on, because in the creative inventory, you cannot find it researching. You cannot find the ability induction factors researching for some reason. For example, ability, okay? I can find other stuff, but not this. You can find it here, but not researching in the creative inventory. You can always find it manually, okay? It's here. Those are all of here or here. I don't know why they don't appear here. I cannot fix this because I'm not a modder. But at least you know this because it might be confusing when you're trying to search it in creative. So let's cover this again. You just go here, click on AcademyCraft, and it's in the last row of the what appears. If you go down, of course, it goes up. Let's say I have my portable developer and everything is fine. But there's another way in creative mode to get an ability. So d/aim cat, or you could just type cat list to get all of the, you see all of the abilities that are available. You can actually choose one of them at a time. You cannot have multiple abilities. If you type aim cat, and then for example type teleporter, and then press enter. I'm not going to do it now. If you press enter now, you get the teleporter ability, for example. You have to exactly type it just like it's in the line. So you cannot type a vector manip like this. You have to type it as vec manip. Okay, as you can see it here. The same goes for everything else except that the other abilities are kind of more straightforward. So, okay, I'm pressing ESC. I didn't get an ability right now. I'm pressing B. As you can see, nothing happens. And I'm going to show you how this works in survival. Okay, I've got my portable developer. I've got my ability induction factor. Open this. I'm typing, as soon as it's ready, I'm typing learn, enter, and it's going. It requires a bit of power, which is fair. And as you can see, I'm a vector manipulator, experience 0%, of course, because I didn't use any of my powers. And this is my skill tree. I can click on any skill I have, I can unlock. As you can see, it says how much energy I'm going to consume. It does not say what it does, but of course, it's going to show you what it does later, and I'm going to show you later. Also, it shows you the requirements to unlock this. Of course, this is the first ability, so it's kind of obvious how to get it. As you can see now, it's a bit discharged, so I can charge it it's charging during the day, and so on. So this is how you get an ability. Okay, now I press V, and that thing, that bar, appears in the top right corner of my heads-up display, and nothing else. That is the amount of calculation power my brain has, because the more I use my ability, the more my brain is going to get tired, and if that bar is depleted, I cannot use any ability until it recharges. There's also a hidden bar which you cannot see right now, but is going to show the overcharge, because if you use, for example, 3 abilities at a time or in rapid sequence, you're going to get fatigue for your brain to calculate a lot of stuff all together, which is going to prevent you from using your ability if you exceed. Basically, the overload is saying, hey, dude, you're thinking too much, slow down, stop. Your brain has to cool down, and then you'll be able to use your ability. It's separated from the calculation power. Now that it's charged, I, for example, go here because it's the only ability I can unlock right now, and click here in this little button. It's going to take a little while, and it's going to show me that I got the first ability, of course, the first skill, of course. This is saying skill not learned, but also development successful, because you know, it's a bit weird. But if I click outside of the box and click here again, it gives me a perfect description and also the amount of skill I got. So how does this work? I press N, like nose, and this is a list of my presets. I can have up to 4 presets because there are a lot of powers, so having just 4 powers at a time and having to reorganize them is a bit of a pain. Of course, now I only have 1 power available, so I'm going to click here. If I click on the white, of course it removes. So I have directed shock. ISK, as you can see, it appeared on my right side of my heads-up display. If I press V, it all disappears and I can just break blocks normal. If I press V again, it's not going to work. I cannot break blocks as normal. But let me just find, oh, hi ship. So if I press left click as it's suggested by the heads-up display, it's going to charge my fist. And if I release it on this annoying ship, because this is an evil ship, as you can see. Okay, if you don't get the hitbox of the animal, of the mob, it does nothing. As you can see, it did 3.5 hertz of damage. In 1 hit, it's just a fist, okay? Of course, I'm going to finish it now. So it just basically makes your fist much more powerful. And the more you use it, the more experience you're going to collect. I use it like twice, but as you can see already, there's a little line here which is charging. It's going to fill. This still says 0. There's a cooldown before using your power again, because of course it will be overpowered. And also the cooldown is going to get shorter and shorter the more you use your ability. So let's check this out now. It says 1%. So okay, basically the more you use an ability, the stronger it gets. So at 100% you're going to do much more damage, and it gets a shorter cooldown time. Okay, now I don't have time to repeat this a whole lot of times to just level up, so I'm going to use a command. Aim, learn, of course, learn all. Now I've learned all of the abilities. Let me check this out. Okay, this is all. There's a description for every of them, of course. Now I have all of the abilities. So, and of course, I already showcased this one. There's ground shock, vector acceleration, vector deviation. So I have a whole 4 abilities to choose from. Okay, so let's try the second one, the shockwave, with my right mouse button, because that's how it works, and release. Boom. It also gives this cool, dust effect, which is extremely cool. Let's show it again. It charges just a bit and then, see, dust. super cool. But that's not it, of course. If you just stay still, see, it hit both of them and did a bit of damage. Of course, this is going to grow as well. Now let's see vector acceleration, because this power, the vector manipulation, is all based around vector. Vectors are basically arrows that in physics are used to indicate how stuff moves, basically. Okay, it's used for many other things, but especially for the how stuff moves, basically. So if my atoms are just randomly moving right now, because that's how it works, using my vector manipulation, I can just, you know, decide that all of my atoms are going to move in one direction. So like this. See? I did a pretty nice jump, pretty long, and of course this is going to increase the more you use it, and if you get the ability to 100%, you're going to be able to make much larger jumps. Okay, actually, I think I'm going to show it to you right now. Let me just, this is a list of all the commands you can use, because all of these have special names. So it's vec accel, okay? The one is 100, so 100%. So if I said, for example, 105, it's 50%. So 1. Now, as you can see, oh, I have 100% experience in this one. So let me show you. See, this was slightly more, but the most interesting part of it is that
I can basically do this almost continuously. As you can see, the cooldown is much shorter and I can jump higher.
now to showcase the fourth ability, the fourth power, I'm going to ask for some help. Oh, hi, dude. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. And that's, this is embarrassing. Oh, okay, this is it. Oh no, it's hitting me. Oh no, oh no, it's hitting me with arrows, which oddly look a lot like vectors. Well, this is just a coincidence. Basically, every projectile that they're throwing to you, whether it's, it might be an egg, for example, or an arrow, or a bullet, it has a vector, the velocity vector, the speed vector. So what if I just decide to reverse it? I press F once and this ability is activated, but as you can see, it consumes a huge amount of calculation power. Okay, as you saw just now, I instantly overloaded, so I was like frozen for a bit. I mean, I could still move my character, but I could not use my powers. And it used a huge amount of calculation power in just a few seconds. This is the problem with powers. The more you use them, the more points, skill points you have about the power, the less calculation power they require. So now I'm just going to say this level 5, which is the maximum level you can reach. This is going to give me a buff. Each level you get gives you more calculation power and a bit more maximum overload. So I'm just going to show you again. If I activate this ability once again, okay, you can see these little circles appearing, and whoop, haha, I'm invincible. It cannot hit me. See? It cannot hit me. Not at all. There's no way it can hit me. See? This is just how this goes. As soon as I turned it off, of course it hit me, because that's how it works. And this was for the first 4 powers. Now, press C, and you get the second preset, okay? As you could see, when I press C, there's this little, it appears that the number of the preset appears in the top right corner. The first power that we are showcasing right now is just like the first power of them all. It's just a more powerful version. And there's a bonus. Okay, it's way more powerful and it breaks blocks. Okay, now what does this have to do with the, vectors? I increase the speed of my fist. But how come I don't get any damage when, punching dirt like that or stuff? Because, this is Minecraft, I don't get hurt by this. But, in real life you would get hurt. But, well, again, vectors. When my fist hits the ground, when I punch it with my power, I could say that I get hurt in real life because when my fist hits the ground is kinda opposing a resistance to my fist. So, if it's opposing a resistance, that resistance is a force. Such a force is a vector. Forces are vectors, so again I can control that. And instead of making the vector come back to my hand, since I control vectors, I can make it go deeper in the ground. So that's why it breaks blocks. Of course, it also works with other blocks. And see, it's pretty powerful. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to rebuild the house because I have stuff to do. Yeah, I'm super busy. Right click, I am activating it, and these are my wind wings. And I can move it. I can move just by pressing my usual stuff. I can fly up if I watch out and press V. Basically, yeah, you can move normally, and just like in 1.13 when you're underwater, okay? If you watch some place and you press V, you go in that direction. So it's not just yeah, to fly, you just fly up a bit, but you also just watch up and press V, or watch down and press S to go back. Okay. Of course, this is actually going to consume a lot of your calculation power and a lot of your overload. So yeah, I'm doing this in creative mode because in creative mode you have infinite of both, and I could explain all of this easily. Now I just right click again and it deactivates. This is very useful because so you don't have in survival mode to just consume all of your calculation power just to get rid of this. You could assign this differently, okay? For example, if I wanted blood retrograde in the left click button, I could just do this, okay? Or in the right click button, I could just do this and so on. So blood retrograde is a bit creepy to describe because, this is a living thing, okay? It's a cow, so it's animal. There's another one here. So all animals, humans as well, have blood, okay? And blood goes in one way inside of, little tubes inside of their body. I think you know what they are. And yeah, as I said, blood moves inside things, inside living things. And since it moves, each blood cell has, you guessed it, a vector. And I can control that. So if by any chance I get close enough to touch this living thing, okay? Just like this. Something like I can, place my hand on this thing and maybe reverse the flow of blood. What will possibly happen? I'm so sorry, cow. I'm just doing this for science. Charge, and this is it. Here. Yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens. So, hello. Now, this is weird because this technically doesn't have blood, but, whatever. See, it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. So, yay, next one, or the next one, the next power. This power is actually, the one I'm about to show you, is actually super cool and super useful. Okay, now let's just show you this, okay? By the way, if you don't have a power, for example, in the right click button, you can use stuff normally, like I am doing now. I have no power in there assigned to the right click. Same goes for the left click. I can just left click normally. So, oh no, it's going to attack me. I have a shield, a normal shield, which is, yeah, it's useful. It's just like the power I showed you earlier. But this is going to consume. So yeah. What else can I do? What else can I possibly do? Well, as I said, arrows, when they move, have a vector, have a speed vector. So what if I just, instead of, you know, erasing that vector like I did before, what what if I what if I reverse that vector? You know, let me just try this. I press F. This is much more, it takes much more from my calculation power, and it's not working right now for some reason. Okay, you need to be a little more distant, and this particular skeleton is a bit covered by the fence. But as you can see, I'm reversing the movement of the arrow. It's basically hurting itself. Okay, now I have the ability at such a low level that I cannot use it anymore already. But at maximum level, you can use it a lot more cheaply. And I have all my calculation power back. What if I have 2 skeletons? Oh no, they're going to attack me. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Or did I have this? Because as you can see, I can redirect the arrows, okay? I can just do this. Okay, I can not only get them back, I can also change the course. So what if I do this? Did you see that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. So basically this skeleton tried to hit me, but I reversed I changed the vector of the arrow towards this skeleton. So this skeleton thought that this guy hit him and decided to fight back, but apparently they made up now for some reason. Okay, well, make peace, I guess. So let's settle this. Dude, this guy is attacking you. Why? Okay, well, okay, fine. Let's kill yourself. It's a super cool ability because, can you imagine this in a multiplayer server when a guy is just trying to hit you and you reverse that and he gets it? That's OMG, that would be so cool. Like, you really wanted to kill me? Well, you can't because I control vectors, man. And now for the last power. It's very destructive and I wouldn't want to die while showing it to you. This looks like a perfect spot. Now this requires a bit of charging, but this is seriously worth it. CD clear. And this resets all the cooldowns, so you can test all of the things as much as you want. Okay, basically, this is called the plasma cannon, as you likely saw earlier. So what does this do? Basically, as I said before, everything, every particle, every cloud, everything that moves, especially everything that has a little bit of heat, is composed of atoms that constantly okay. As is composed of atoms that constantly move, okay? So what if I decide to change the vector of all of those atoms in the air to point towards one point, okay? Basically, I'm concentrating a huge amount of mass and of moving mass, so a huge amount of heat into one place. So one of the hottest things in the universe is plasma, okay? Just like in the core of the sun or other stars, there's plasma. And yes, I'm basically doing that. So as I was saying, let me charge. Oh yes, concentrating air molecules and stuff. Okay, I can shoot it. There's plasma there. I can move around, but while doing that, even run around if I keep pressing my left click button. As you can see, this is keeping all of the atoms, all of the plasma stable there. I aim here, and boom. As you see, did you saw that? This, okay? Everywhere I aim, the plasma is going to go, so I can just do this. See? It has a huge radius, so beware of a vector manipulator, okay guys? If you see anyone who has the vector manipulation ability, just beware of it. If you're a teleporter, try to teleport away. That's a sincere suggestion because this is seriously powerful. And this was it. This was it for all the powers. Now, how could you possibly get to develop the abilities as you want. Now, you probably saw this at the beginning of the video. You start with a portable developer, but then at some point you're forced to upgrade to a normal ability developer and then to an advanced ability developer. Now to power both of these, you need at least a basic wireless imag node. You can see all of the recipe in GJ, so I'm not going to cover them right now. But this is not enough by itself. So what you need to do, this is a tricky part, so pay attention. You go into a power generation, click on this little thing here, and connect it to some of the available nodes. In this case, it's unnamed, so that's it. But I can also name it just by clicking here instead. Oh damn it! Wait. Okay, I can click here. I type, for example, back. Oh, no, actually, okay, that's a bit cool. I can also add a password, but you know, I play single player today, so I don't need. You press enter, or else it's not going to save your name. Press scan now. If you go here, you see it's named as Axel. You click here to not to disconnect it, so all the energy is going to stay in the solar power, or click here to connect it to the node. There's a maximum distance which varies depending on the level of the node. You can test that out. It's actually big enough and you don't really need to move stuff. So a couple of blocks, so you could even just place it right next to it to save space. It doesn't really matter. Now you go here, click in this current node, click to the same node, and then you have it. It's charging, as you can see. The solar generator is sending its energy to the basic node, which is sending its energy stored in this, which is charging. You're going to need this for a few abilities, and then at some point you're going to need this, which works exactly the same. There's also a maximum of things you can connect to the node. As you can see, capacity 3 out of 5, so you can connect up to 5 devices. There are machines and stuff that you can connect to. If you want to connect more stuff, you just need to upgrade. It doesn't matter because actually you can get all of the abilities if you have a bit of patience with just this setup. Solar panel, basic node, and an advanced ability developer. You could actually directly craft a portal developer into a normal developer and into an advanced ability developer. And it will be kind of a wise choice because this consumes less power than the normal ability, which consumes less power than the portable developer. But they get more expensive, so yeah. Do that only if you feel like you really can afford that. And this is it. This is how you upgrade your abilities. But at some point, if you are, for example, level 1 to 4, and you get to experience 100% in this category, you can click here to upgrade your level. As I said, each level comes with more abilities unlocked and a higher calculation power. Here, it's not actually going to show. This bar is going to stay like this, but it's just going to deplete slower. That's how it works. And I think this is everything. Check the anime out. It's super cool. I love it. I'm also a fan of My Hero Academia, which has superpowers, but it's different, you know. This, the Toru Kagaku no Railgun anime, is based around a different concept of superpower, super ability, and I'm not going to spoil anything to you, but just trust me, it's worth trying watching it. This was it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you really loved it, subscribe. You can always change your mind after all. And remember to comment if you want any more, any more tutorials, any more showcases about specific powers, specific mods, or specific aspect of mods, because some mods work well together, some other don't, and you might want to know that before testing it. Just ask me. I also have an Instagram page. I'm more active there actually. So if you want to ask me something specific, just check out my Instagram. I'm just saying that I'm available if you need help for anything about this. But this was it. This is all. Have a nice day and see you next time.